Time to wake up. It's Saturday morning. Find some milk and cereal. Grab a bowl and spoon. No, a bigger spoon. Head to the living room and take a seat on the floor while Joseph and Chris present to you Saturday Morning Cartoon!
Hello everybody, welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoon Boom! This is a show where we wake up with the Saturday morning sun, pop on the floor with a big bowl of sugary cereal, watch our favorite cartoons, both old and new. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And this morning we watched The Spectacular Spider-Man.
What other adjectives have been used for Spider-Man over the years?
Superior.
I just picture Spider-Man with a Pope hat, and he would be called Spider-Man Superior. Yeah, somewhere in the Spider-Verse is Spider-Man Superior.
Mother Spider Superior.
Say 3 Hail Mary Janes.
Oh, who suggested this to us?
This was suggested to us by KrispyKrunkle and BobHJones9.
Oh, nice.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you. I have been meaning to watch this. Well, not watch it. I've watched it before, but I've been meaning to bring that show to this show because I had watched it back when it first came out and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I have never seen it. So there you go.
Well, this will be fresh for you then.
Well.
So the show Spectacular Spider-Man aired from 2008 to 2009, created by, originally Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, but this version developed by Greg Weisman and Victor Cook, produced by Culver Entertainment, Marvel Entertainment, Adelaide Productions, Hanho Huang Up Animation, Dongwoo Animation, Moy Animation, and Sony Pictures Television. So there was a lot of teams behind this.
Yeah, it sounds like a cheese.
Ran for 2 seasons, 26 episodes on the first season ran on the CW and the second one ran on Disney XD. And for a short synopsis, an animated television show that focuses on a 16-year-old Peter Parker and the origins of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty accurate. And I feel like this one's loosely based on the first iteration of Ultimate Spider-Man. At least it felt a little bit more that way to me as far as Peter Parker himself, like the Brian Michael Bendis run.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know the origin. I think it's like a big mixture of a lot of them. It's definitely focused more on teenage Peter Parker and not jumping directly into his later years or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So who are some of the actors who played in this show? Okay,
so the voice of Peter Parker was Josh Keaton, who was also the voice of Hal Jordan in Green Lantern, the animated series, Jack Darby in Transformers Prime, Shiro in Voltron Legendary Defender, and Ant-Man in Avengers Assemble, and a couple other Avengers things.
Nice.
Character of Gwen Stacy was voiced by Lacey Chabert, who played Claudia in the show Party of Five, and then also voiced Eliza from The Wild Thornberrys, and was the original Meg Griffin from Family Guy. You remember that short first season where Meg was just not Mila Kunis?
Oh,
that was her.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Lacey. Let's see. Flash Thompson was voiced by Joshua LaBar. Sally Averill / Betty Brant was voiced by Grey Griffin, who we talk about all the time because she's in everything. Liz Allen, voiced by Alana Ubach. One of those. Mary Jane Watson, voiced by Vanessa Marshall, who's also been in a lot of things that we have seen and heard with our eyes, ears, and other parts. She was the voice of Irwin from The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, Black Widow from Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Hera Syndulla. I don't know this name, but you might because she was in Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars Forces of Destiny. And then she also voices Gamora for the Guardians of the Galaxy animated series. Harry Osborn, voiced by James Arnold Taylor, who is also the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars Clone Wars. Johnny Test in the titular Johnny Test. And another Guardians of the Galaxy alum, when we're talking about the animated series, he's the voice of both Cosmo and Yondu. George Stacy, voiced by Clancy Brown, one of my favorite voice actors ever. He's in everything. He's the Kurgan, and Mr. Krabs. And then finally, May Parker, voiced by Deborah Strang.
So here's a few tasty marshmallows out of our big bowl of Spectacular Spider-Man cereal. In terms of overall tone and style, the series is based principally on the early comic book stories by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko with a similar high school setting. the role that Tombstone plays in this series, I guess in the series he's only known as Big Man. He is based off of the Kingpin, obviously. I mean, you can kind of tell almost right away. The reason why the Kingpin, Wilson Fisk, was not used in this series is due to the fact that at the time he was being more recognized as a Daredevil villain, despite the fact that he originally started out in Spider-Man as a villain and was not included in the rights to the show, as only Spider-Man characters were permitted. Kingpin got stolen from the Spider-Man universe by Daredevil.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense because we hear the voice of whoever is pulling the strings of some of the villains in the first few episodes. And I assumed it was going to be Kingpin until we actually saw that it was Tombstone later on. And I was just like, wait, why? Why is it Tombstone of all people? Like, Tombstone sucks. So I was just really confused, but now I get it.
Yeah, Tombstone's like always been kind of second tier to Kingpin as far as like big boss men goes. But in this series, they just kind of had to use him. And I mean, they had Kingpin as the main villain in the Amazing Spider-Man series, or the Spider-Man animated series, the original one from the 90s. That's the only reason, was just Daredevil was using him at the time.
Sure. Okay.
Also, a third season was planned, but the series ended up being canceled due to the low television viewership for season 2. And this was after the show moved from Kids WB to Disney XD, DVD sales not meeting their demand, and the television show rights reverting from Sony back to Marvel. According to Greg Weisman, there had been a third season. If there had been a third season, there would have been episodes that introduced the villains Carnage, Hydro Man, Scorpion, and Hobgoblin. Norman Osborn's wife, Emily Osborn, would also have made her first speaking appearance, with Marina Sirtis in mind as the voice of the character. So there was a lot that we missed out on by not getting that third season, because originally it was planned to be 65 episodes, not just the 26 we got.
Ah, got it. I'm surprised that they experienced the low ratings shifting from a network that does primarily live action to a network that does, I feel like, primarily animation, or at least 50% animation and 50% live action. That surprises me a lot.
Yeah, I wonder if it was just kind of an oversaturation of animated shows on Disney XD at the time, and it kind of just fell under the radar. I don't know. But had you ever heard of this show before?
I believe so. I mean, I don't know. There's just been a lot of Spider-Man cartoons, so a lot of them run together because I haven't seen all of them. So maybe.
Yeah, like I said, I was watching it. I don't know if I watched it when it first came out, but I know I caught it within the past 5 or 6 years or so, and watched through the whole series because it's so short. And I really enjoyed it. I think I might personally have liked it more than the 90s animated series.
Nice.
Which holds up to me nostalgia-wise, but I don't know, there's so many things about it that I don't think are as good or as representational of Spider-Man as this series is. But we'll talk about that as we go through it. So let's go ahead and jump into the episodes we watched for today's show. The very first episode, highest rated episode, and finally a random or listener chosen episode. Order may vary depending on how these episodes fall chronologically, but of course we have to start with the very first episode, which was Survival of the Fittest, Season 1, Episode 1. And in this one, summer is over for Peter Parker and school's ready to start, both literally and in real world of crime fighting, as Spider-Man faces his first real challenge, the Enforcers, and his first real supervillain, Vulture.
Aw, bummer, not school. You know, one thing I did like about the beginning of this show is that we don't have to watch Uncle Ben die all over again. Like, I'm so sick of watching this old man get murdered all the time. So it was kind of nice that they were like, well, just skip that part and you'll get to see a little bit of the fallout in that they don't have any money. And Aunt May is sad, I'm assuming, because her Plenty of Fish profile isn't getting a lot of hits.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm glad that they kind of moved past that.
Yeah, it's one of those like Bruce Wayne's parents getting killed where it's like, you don't need to see it every single time,
Exactly. What was cool is that so many characters, and especially villains, are so... The show is so saturated with them. Like, they're just everywhere. Like, everywhere, almost every scene of this show, like, there's a character that you could recognize, and they're not always pointed out right off the bat. Like, the first time we see Doc Ock, they never say his name whatsoever. You know, to acknowledge it, you're just, based on the design alone, you're kind of like, I wonder if he's going to end up being Doc
Yeah.
Ock.
The same with Flint Marko, Sandman, where they just show this guy and he's just a regular criminal, gets, caught and arrested by Spider-Man again. And he's just like, oh, man. And that's it. Like, it's that appearance that if you have knowledge of the world of Spider-Man, then it's like a nice little Easter egg, but you don't need it to really go through and later be like, oh, I saw that guy earlier. Now he's Sandman.
They did that with Shocker, too. Like, instead of seeing him, we heard someone, like, there's a group of thugs and somebody yelled to the one that was leading them and called him Montana. And I'm like, oh, that's going to be Shocker. So, yeah, it's cool stuff.
Shocker in the comics is a different character whose name is escaping me. Herman Schultz is the name of the Shocker.
I think they used him in the MCU. I think the guy that played him was Montana.
Montana is one of the enforcers, one of Tombstone or Hammerhead's enforcers, I guess. And so in this case, they tie them both together. And it makes sense for the show without adding an extra character just to be Shocker, because no one cares about Herman Schultz.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a cool episode in that you get a really good taste of the action and really the art style that they're going to stick with. And let me ask you this, like, how did you feel about the stylized animation? I
like how the animation looked, honestly. I thought it was really cool. Like you kind of brought up like X-Men Evolution earlier. It kind of reminds me of that. And I honestly hold X-Men Evolution in very high esteem. And so this looking very similar and stuff, I was pretty sold on the animation part pretty quickly. And I do like the design of all the characters too. Like it just looked really good for all of them.
Yeah, I think the only one that I didn't really like was Venom. That was because like his like the gap between his teeth were bothering me. Oh yeah, I guess the voice wasn't great either.
The voice was terrible for Venom. Oh God.
In their defense, like they were still using Eddie's voice, but just kind of modulating it, I guess. But yeah, no, Venom was a character that bothered me, but not to a degree that's like, oh, I'm subtracting points from this because of it. Like it was just like a side thing, and that's fine. Otherwise, yeah, I was pretty happy with all the characters, and the animation style is one that I got pretty used to pretty quick.
Yeah.
And even with some of the liberties they took with certain characters, like it was totally fine and fit with this world well. It was almost like a westernized anime style in the way the drawings were, but it didn't have like the sweat on the head thing or the eyes getting really giant or the face going like weird when they have certain expressions. Like it's not like Teen Titans in that way, but just as far as the looseness of the animation, very cartoonish style, it reminded me of that a little bit.
Yeah, it's got some similarities for sure. I was surprised with how many villains that we did get right off the bat, because, I mean, we're so quickly... I mean, the first one really into action, I suppose, is Vulture. But, I mean, we are shown a ton of them right off the bat. I mean, Vulture, Doc Ock, Norman Osborn, Shocker, Flint Marko, Hammerhead. Like, good Lord, they're just really throwing them out there. Kurt Connors.
Yeah, but to your earlier point, like, none of them have these villain names attached to them yet, with the exception of Vulture.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just in this episode because of something that Norman Osborn did. So having no previous knowledge of the Spider-Man universe, you just be like, oh, these are a bunch of dudes. Like, that's really all you get of it. I was going to say, and just to kick the show off a little bit, like, really the main challenge is Spider-Man's having to face off against the enforcers who the big man Tombstone is like, basically, I need this Spider-Man guy. Now that we know he's not a legend, he's not a rumor, I need him taken care of because he's interrupting my crime waves, whatever. And also on the other side of it, you've got Vulture, who has nothing against Spider-Man, but he wants revenge against Norman Osborn for stealing his plans for the flight suit that he's currently utilizing, because it was going to be used for something differently, but Norman Osborn stole it and wants to weaponize it or whatever, keep it for himself and take credit for it. And so Vulture's on a path for revenge against him. And so Spider-Man is just kind of coincidentally stepping in to help Norman and save him from the Vulture.
Now, this is a question that I had. And we know that a few of these guys have at least heard of Spider-Man and think that, it's a like a myth, a joke kind of thing, a meme, if you will. However, both Toombs and Osborn have never even heard of Spider-Man. So, and we do find out in this episode that he did get his powers a year ago. I'm like, has he just been chilling? Has he just been chilling with these powers for almost a year and not doing anything? Like, how have they not even heard of him yet?
Yeah, like I guess he's just been fighting like really petty crimes, and the bigger stuff hasn't come into play yet. So that's why it's like, well, I've heard rumblings of this like spider dude or something, but I cannot confirm.
We also get introduced to a lot of other secondary characters. Like we do see J. Jonah Jameson for a minute. I think in that scene we might see Betty Brant. I know we see her later, but I think she's kind of in the background and she doesn't talk in this one. We see Eddie Brock, but like they're supposed to be like childhood buddies. Their parents died together, which automatically makes you orphan brothers. I didn't know if you knew that, which is why you and I are orphan brothers together.
Right. Our parents are still alive together.
Yeah. But we've never seen them since.
So we're like reverse orphan brothers.
Yeah. We're unorphaned brothers.
Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of weird, but I mean, it works. I think it honestly makes it a little interesting with them not starting as rivals and that they were friends. And then that big rift happens and it just gets worse and worse and worse. I think that's more interesting. So my favorite scene of this whole thing was basically the one going after the other, going after the other, going after the other thing, which was great, which was Vulture chasing down Osborn, with Spider-Man chasing down Vulture, with Montana and his goons chasing down Spider-Man in a helicopter. That was just great. Like all four of those parties at the same time was fun.
I thought that was an interesting way to really have a lot going on. Like this was a really action-packed intro episode. Even though the enforcers, at least for me, are kind of like second tier villains, they're not anything huge, but it's a good place for Spider-Man to start since he hasn't really faced anything past like petty crime or petty criminals at that point. So it's a good intro, and Vulture's kind of like, depending on how he's used, he can be sort of a lower tier villain as well. But I really like what they did with him here. They didn't go through the whole like Adrian Toombs like seeking youth and whatever that they had in the original cartoon, the other one. And I like how he was just on a path for revenge at Norman Osborn, and it just so happened that Spider-Man stepped in. So it was a good way to introduce this character here. How did you feel about, well, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter that much, but how did you feel about his red costume versus the green one he usually has?
I was fine with it. Like, it didn't bother me at all. I don't think I know that he's traditionally in green, but I don't think I even thought of it until now, to be honest.
Like, it didn't bother me. I was just expecting it to be green. And then when it's red, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'll go with it.
Yeah, sure.
Aside from that,
I did want to say that I did like how Vulture got his name, which is he misremembered Osborn yelling at him and calling him a buzzard. And I love that. He's like, I'm the Vulture. And he's like, thanks for the name or whatever. And he's like, I called you a buzzard.
That's right. Great. You old buzzard is what he called him.
Yeah.
So overall, how'd you feel about the episode, like as an opener? I mean, I liked how much of a challenge the enforcers were for Spider-Man at first, because he was not prepared for that. And so even these like low tier villains were still kind of like kicking his butt for a while.
I thought it was okay. I was worried that they were going to throw too much in there at one time because we did see so many characters. And I was a little bit just slightly disappointed that it wasn't like introducing a larger villain or arc, right off the bat. But, it's doing the thing where it starts small and then it'll throw in the big thing later.
Well, it kind of did at the end where it introduces Tombstoner, the big man. We get to see him.
Right. And I guess if that ended up being Kingpin, I would have felt better about it.
Yeah. One person that you didn't mention who I really liked in the show was Gwen Stacy. Like, we don't get to see her too often in the cartoons, but I really like this version of her.
Yeah. I did too. I think she was really cool. And I like that she's like, they made her the smart science nerdy girl that's basically like perfect for Peter Parker, honestly, if he was paying attention.
He was newfound confidence because at the opening of this episode, like he goes into school, he's got his spider powers now, so he's not going to get beat up by Flash anymore or anything like that. So his first like daring feat is to go ask out one of the cheerleaders, and he gets immediately rejected, which puts him in his place.
Yeah, that didn't go well.
It's one of those things where like the perfect person for Peter is like right under his nose, but he's not seeing it, at least not now. So the second episode we watched for today's show was Group Therapy, season 1, episode 11. And I chose this one because I saw that it had a good like variety of villains in it, of the bigger supervillains.
Oh my God.
And I couldn't remember how they all interacted together, but I'm glad I chose this one just for a good sample platter for you. And plus it had the symbiote suit, like not its first appearance, but it had, I think, appeared the episode before. And so this is him like really getting to test it out and also see its limitations.
Yeah. You know what? This was a really interesting episode, to be honest, because you know how like I said in the last one that I was a little worried that they were going to throw too many things out at once.
Yep.
And in this one, that's exactly what they did, but they did it really well. And I loved it.
Yeah, because in this one, you have Vulture, you have Rhino, you have Electro, you have Sandman, Hammerhead, and Dr. Octopus all together, and the symbiote suit. So it's everything thrown against the wall in a 23-minute episode. It's like, how could you possibly fit this all and make it work? But somehow they did.
Yeah, it was really cool, too. Like, we got a really sweet jailbreak scene, basically first thing as Electro helped bust the others out of prison because the rest of them were there. And so, I mean, essentially, we're getting the Sinister Six. That's exactly what we get here. And that was really cool. I was kind of hoping, because we saw so many of them in that first episode, that we would be getting a good Sinister Six mix in. Rhymes. But I wasn't expecting us to get one of those episodes just because we were only doing 3. But this was kind of like a perfect transition for us because we got to see where some of the smaller storylines were heading from that first episode, and that now, yes, the Sinister Six is working together. They have collected together, and then Eddie Brock goes full on Venom. So that it was just really crazy that it was all in one episode that we got to see all of it.
Yeah, so it is, like you said, a good transition from the first episode to the last episode that we watched, which we'll get to, that also has something to do with this one. So I liked that it was kind of random because I didn't remember that he even had the symbiote suit at this point. So that was just a stroke of good luck. But in this one, yeah, they have that jailbreak. We get the initial Sinister Six. This is where Shocker comes in also because Hammerhead isn't really part of it. Hammerhead is broken out with the rest of his gang, and then he just leaves Montana there with his Shocker suit. And also, you know, I liked Electro's suit too. Like, I thought that was a really cool way they handled him. Like, he didn't have cool. Like the big, like the classic thing with the lightning like mask on or anything. He was like pure electricity, but he was contained inside of this protection suit, this containment suit. And when he was like fully powered up, he would take the helmet off and he would just kind of be sparking all around. But he could also put the helmet back on to contain himself better. And I thought that was an interesting approach they took.
I liked that too. We also got to see MJ, which was nice. And she was going to go on a date with Eddie Brock, but Eddie was being a class A D bag. And she immediately ditched him because he was driving her around on his motorcycle and was just ranting about Peter and saying things about how Peter screwed all these things up and then driving so recklessly and scaring her. And then she was like, I'm out. Got to hear Aunt May yell at Rhino, which was fun, which is great because I want to see a villain just named Rhinoceros Person. That would be great. I'm into that.
That rhinoceros person.
Yes. And then she has a heart attack. So it's just...
oh, yeah. That's like, the not as fun part about the episode. Yeah, so much happens in this episode. You're right.
I know. I can tell you, every once in a while we hear a news anchor on TV, and I can tell you right off the bat, just from that voice, that is Steve Bloom. It's absolutely him. You're basically listening to Spike Spiegel
right. I couldn't pinpoint the voice, but I'm glad you said that because I couldn't pinpoint it. But yeah, it's totally who it was. Yeah, so Aunt May is out in the town, like with one of her friends, because Peter encourages her to go out. He's finding out about his spider suit. He finds out about his symbiote spider suit. He finds out he doesn't need webbing anymore because it kind of shoots its own. And so he is out there kind of trying to take them all on, but he's really getting destroyed. Like he has to like retire from that because he kind of he splits them up a little bit, but he has to eventually like go back home and rest because if he didn't, they would have just killed him probably.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's in that time. This is what was really cool about it because they don't say it at first. Like you just see him come back out when the Sinister Six is out there terrorizing the town again. He comes back out like he doesn't know that Aunt May had a heart attack either. Like when he comes home, because he just goes straight to bed. We see him come out and he's not saying anything. He's completely silent. I'm like, is he just really mad right now? Like, what is the deal? And then we find out later that his suit is sort of using muscle memory or, just sort of using his body to fight them while he sleeps. And I thought that was a really cool idea because it really kind of tears him up too. Like it almost kills Dr. Octopus. Like the police have to be like, no, stop. And then like he runs off. I'm like, man, Peter was just really mad. And then we see like he wakes up. He's like, oh, what happened? Like, why am I so sore? And then we realize that the suit was kind of piloting the whole time.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. I like that a lot. And I like that was like Peter's cue as to like, I really don't know enough about this thing that I'm using. Yeah, I think he even says at one point, and because I was thinking it as they talked, but he basically was just like, I wasn't wearing the suit. The suit was wearing me.
Yeah.
And I just love that he had that. I love that line, but I like that he had that thought.
Right. And it's interesting also, again, like with how short this episode was and how much was packed into it, that we get a good explanation as to why he needs to get rid of this suit immediately, because he pretty much just got it the last episode and he's only had it for this short period of time, but already he's seeing like, oh, this is dangerous. Like this is literally controlling my body. It's a symbiotic relationship. I need to get rid of it. How does he get rid of it again? I'm trying to remember now. He puts it in like no, I don't remember. That's the next episode I'm thinking of. How does he get rid of it this time?
He did not get rid of it in this one. He was just kind of like, ooh, what do I do?
Okay, yeah. So that's sort of how the episode closes out. And he goes and visits Aunt May in the hospital at that point.
Yeah, because he finally found out because it was like 2 days of her in the hospital without him showing up. Yeah. Horrible, but really funny. Were you, okay, so about this episode, since he did get the symbiote suit, were you at all like disappointed that we didn't get an emo jazz dance scene? Were you?
Was I at all no, I was the opposite of disappointed. I was very much pleased that we didn't get any of that. We didn't need any emo Peter from that. That's
I guess
we'll leave that in the past. We're good.
Okay, that's fair.
So, the next episode of today's show was Nature versus Nurture, Season 1, Episode 13. This was the highest rated episode. And after Peter turns down an offer to turn a blind eye on Mr. Lincoln's crimes, the Black Goo Alien and Eddie, Black Goo Alien, that's what it's called, and Eddie eagerly accept, including their tests, defeat Spider-Man. So, yeah, what this all means, it's just worded strangely. Tombstone is like trying to get Spider-Man to fight with him. Spider-Man, now free from the symbiote, is making like rational choices again, and he's concerned about his family and whatnot. So he's like, "No, I'm absolutely not going to do that." Then Venom comes in and is like, "Hey," he just crawls in the window like, "Hey, I'll do it." Like, what's up?
Yeah. He literally did just crawl through the window, though.
Tombstone's just like, "Oh man, I really got to start locking these windows." But yeah, so the test is like defeat Spider-Man or bring him Spider-Man or crush Spider-Man, whatever he said. The idea is the same. And at this point, we kind of see, we got to see last episode that while Eddie was driving MJ around on the motorcycle, he was complaining about Peter the whole time. Like he was so angry with him. So we're seeing these pieces being connected without actually seeing episode 12, which I guess where they got connected. We're seeing him post symbiote bond.
And like we said earlier, his voice is terrible. Like, I don't know. Here's the thing that I think happened is it's got this delay effect going on it that is not good. It is not done well. It's extremely distracting every time he talks.
I mean, it's supposed to be like him and Eddie talking simultaneously, but it doesn't work right. And For me, Venom's voice needs to be like deeper and like more menacing. And this one is very light, like is very like a higher pitch than it needs to be for Venom.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, I was kind of like, you know what, if you're not going to go deep with it, it's whatever. But I think it would have made it better since they had already ruined the the delay factor on the voice. But I don't know, man. It just, they really fumbled that one.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Like I said earlier, I wasn't really happy with what they did with Venom in this, but it wasn't such a detractor. And I enjoyed this episode all around, just, the voice notwithstanding. So here, like, basically Venom now knows all of Peter's secrets, including the new Spider-Man, and wants to essentially go after his family to slowly torture him because like he could have killed him like earlier in the episode. He had him like dead to rights and had him all like tied down with his web. And at that point, like he's like, no, like I could kill you now, but I'm not going to, but I will go after everyone you care about or something to that effect. And he does start to do that. And I think, or who you care about most. And I think that because the symbiote has bonded with them, it knows Peter's feelings. And so first he thinks it's going after Aunt May. And so he goes to the hospital to protect her. But
it does. And he does kind of show up there, but then like it doesn't work out for him. So it's like, well, I'm going to crawl through that window again. And then goes after Gwen during a parade. Was it Thanksgiving parade?
Yeah, it was a Thanksgiving parade.
Okay. So I have two questions for you, and I'm hoping that you can help me with this. First of all, why does every, and it doesn't matter their level of money, why does every criminal in New York have a helicopter? Like, is there like a store for that? Is there like a supervillain Sam's Club or something for helicopters and black suits?
Yeah, Helicopters Anonymous. Yeah.
I don't know. So here's the thing I thought was weird. Spider-Man's webs in another episode are able to grasp on to a helicopter and hold it in place between two buildings. But Venom's webs struggle to hold a teenage girl to this Thanksgiving Day parade balloon, like the web's falling apart as she's dangling from it. And I'm like, what? Like, I don't get the logistics of that one.
Well, I mean, I guess it's definitely a different sort of material since it's part of the symbiote. So maybe it's just like
too gooey,
decomposing. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. So Venom strings her up from one of the floats and has her kind of hanging there while it's on that timer.
She's just hanging out.
Basically, yeah, she's hanging out. She's on this timer of when the web runs out or when it like deteriorates, like she's gonna fall to her death. And so like the people keep commenting on, oh, look at that like animatronic girl up there. Like, why is she on that float or whatever? And yeah,
everyone's really into it.
Making these terrible comments. And then Peter sees it and like he's going to try to save her, but he keeps getting cut off by Venom. Like it kind of knows his every move and he can't detect it with his spider sense because he isn't detecting the symbiote as a threat because of the bond that they had.
I like that.
Yeah, it makes Venom all the more dangerous. And I think that really carries through from the comics and stuff too. That it's like that as well.
I'm glad they use that because it does make him way more of a threat. And they need that since his voice is stupid.
Yeah. That's exactly why they needed it.
So, I mean, you know what's going to happen. You know Spider-Man's going to save the day. This isn't, the Gwen Stacy story where she dies. This is Venom that can't stick him to a balloon. So what I did really like, though, is the final confrontation between Venom and Spider-Man, between Eddie and Peter, is Peter's way of getting the symbiote away from Eddie, which is convincing it to come back to him.
Yeah.
And that was cool. I was just like, oh, dude, that's sweet. However, when that happened, the rest of the plan I hated, and I thought it was so stupid and cheesy. It crawls off of Eddie and then crawls up and starts covering Peter. But it's like, no, like too many positive emotions.
Oh, yeah.
Peter's just too nice of a dude that he's just like, oh, he's grown and matured. I can't control him. I was like, this is the worst.
I feed off of teenage angst.
Yeah. He's really grown up this season.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of blocked that part out, but I get what you mean. Like it definitely didn't need to show the inner monologue between the symbiote and Peter. Like I get what they were doing, but it was not necessary.
That was so bad.
Yeah, it caps off well enough, and he traps it in a bag because it's really kind of defenseless without a host. So it's just sort of crawling across the ground, trying to go back to Eddie, but he catches it, before it's able to. Instead of like burning it or something or trying to actually get rid of it, like he just goes to a new building being built.
Yeah, he hits a construction site.
Yeah, he goes to a construction site and then puts the bag after he distracts the workers. Like he puts the bag in the wet cement and kind of lets it get buried under. It's like, okay, it's a good temporary solution, but there's a possibility of that thing coming back out.
Oh yeah. It's going to come back out. Well, it would have at least come back out because they would have gotten Carnage through it.
For Carnage, yeah, exactly.
Oh, and he gets a kiss from Gwen at the end.
Yes. So so Aunt May's out of the hospital finally. And so they take her home and, Peter wants to help with Thanksgiving dinner, but he messes up the whole kitchen. So instead, Gwen and her father come over and bring pre-made things, not pre-made, but I mean, they made it. Bring Thanksgiving dinner from their place and share it with Peter and his aunt. And then as Gwen's leaving, she runs back up the stairs and like steals a kiss from Peter. And that kind of sends him into like oh man, like I've never thought about this, but now I get it. Like he was going after what I cared about most. That was sort of in his head. And that's how the first season caps off.
That was his, wait, I like Gwen? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I mean, season 2 kind of, spoiler alert, like he chooses someone else over Gwen.
Oh.
But it's not Mary Jane.
Yeah, I mean, he at one point had like 3 girls like fawning over him during this episode. So it's, yeah.
Yeah, he has options.
He's just playing the field right now.
Well, Chris, it looks like it's about time we send our inner kids to help the spectacular Spidey face off against his sinister foes, or at least Shocker, since they could probably handle him by themselves. Then see what they thought of the spectacular Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is always really cool, even if Sony and Disney try to ruin his legacy in the movies. But this show is really fun because we got to see so many bad guys, even if Venom was the worst. Give me the symbiote. I bet we could be an awesome Venom. But I gave this cartoon 3.5 bowls of Sinister cereal out of 5.
As my all-time favorite superhero, I'm always excited to check out new cartoons involving him. While they aren't always hits, I really enjoyed this one and loved the direction they were taking it. It's a nice blend of action, comedy, and drama without ever leaning too heavily in any direction, which for me is a perfect formula for a great Spider-Man story. While the art design did take a little getting used to at first, I ended up being okay with most of the stylized character choices with the exception of Venom and his teeth gap. So overall, I'd give the spectacular Spider-Man 4 big bowls of symbiote snack cereal out of 5, and only wish they'd gotten more time to really flesh the show out.
Yeah, I would have been really interested to see, like, how a Disney cartoon would handle things like Carnage and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of interesting things they could have done.
My hope is that they were at least somewhat faithful to Carnage as far as his design goes. Like, I hope they wouldn't make him like a big bulky guy or anything. Like, he's the one who should have had the higher pitched voice. Like, That's just Carnage. That's how I think of him. Like, he's the scrawny serial killer guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Eddie Brock's supposed to be this really built dude, and he is, but he still had that super high voice that bothered me. Like, this Venom was not my favorite Venom for sure.
Yeah, it just didn't really fit.
Yeah, and that's okay, but I just hope that they would have handled Carnage better, but I guess we'll never know.
Yeah.
We're about due for a new Spider-Man cartoon though, so I hope they bring something soon.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll probably get something on like the Disney Plus show when we get that. I mean, because they are going to start doing a lot of cartoons on there, like the Marvel What If and
they still own the animated Spider-Man.
Yeah,
do they? Because Sony did Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh God, no, you're right. You're right. Sony does have it. Oh, oh no. Here's a fun little tidbit though. So Haley Steinfeld, who voiced Spider-Gwen, Gwen Stacy in the Into the Spider-Verse movie, was just offered the role of Kate Bishop in the MCU. So there you go.
Oh, cool.
She'd be great too.
Live action?
Well, the cartoon for sure.
Okay.
Doing the voiceover, but I can't imagine that they wouldn't use her also for the live action. It just makes sense because she's great. She'd be great.
On a level of 1 to 10, how excited are you about Disney Plus?
From a 1 to a 10?
Yeah.
A 4, to be honest. Like, I don't want to.
A 4? Really?
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. This is the thing.
I just felt like it would have been right up your alley because you love like the lore and stuff.
I know,
and there's
I know.
all these different shows that are diving so deeply into like the Loki show and whatever. Like
I know.
And I know you're a bigger fan of like the live action MCU than I am. I like it, but you like know everything about it. So I figured it would be like all for you.
Well, I think it's just that I like the idea of it, but I feel like it's gonna start doing the thing that Marvel Comics did where it got too big and you have to see so many things to understand what's going on. And it's like with the movies, that's kind of understandable in a way. I mean, it is high expectations, but it's achievable. But if you're going to do something now where you have Disney Plus, then there's an exclusiveness to it. So it's like, if you didn't get it, you know, you're not going to understand some of the stuff that's going to happen in the movies now because there's going to be so much crossover. Like WandaVision is going to be a Disney Plus thing and some weird stuff's going to happen there with Scarlet Witch. But she's also going to be in the next Doctor Strange movie, and she's going to be, from what I understand, a huge impact there. So it's kind of like, man, like I don't like the idea of it going back and forth so much. I think it's going to be too convoluted.
It's like they were doing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where they were tying it to the movies in some way.
Yeah, they kind of tried, and then that fell apart, and then they just gave up because Feige was kind of like, nah, we don't want to do that.
I hope that it doesn't leak into the comics so much where it's like, oh, read this comic to get the origin of how this show started and all that. Well, like I appreciate cross promotion and stuff like that, but it just kind of like muddies the water when you've got too many things going on at the same time.
Well, that's what I'm really afraid of. And a lot of the rumors make it sound like that's about what's going to happen because like there was a point that I had to stop reading certain Marvel comics because it's just like they get interrupted by so many, you know, crossover events that I'm like, man, if I just want to read like I was reading Champions for a long time. I love Champions. But then all of a sudden, like the team would be different one comic and you're like, what's going on here? And then you're like,
it's like got the editor's note, like, please see issue 115 of this way different comic.
Yeah. And I don't, you know, that gets too much. And I don't want them to do that with the MCU. And I feel like that's where it's going. So I love the idea of seeing more of these stories with these actors and characters. Oh, yeah. Do I like the way they're going to do it? So
TBD.
That's where I am. TBD. But with this show, though, like, you know, I had a good time watching it. It didn't grab me as much as I'm sure it grabbed other people. But I still had a good time watching it. And I like the take on it. Especially like being able to see so many of the villains and things like that. I thought that was really fun. I just wish somebody knew how to handle Venom in something that wasn't the comic books. Because I just feel like almost any iteration of Venom just isn't great. But I say that not having seen the Venom movie, which I have not heard a lot of good things about, but I do want to see it. So that one aside, I haven't seen Venom used well in many other things.
Yeah, I've heard as a like comic book action movie or whatever, it's not great, but as like a bromance movie between Eddie Brock and Venom, like it's fantastic.
Oh,
so
weird.
I think there's something
cool
to
idea.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll watch it at some point, but I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So thank you, KrispyKrunkle and BobHJones9. I think it's still my favorite like animated series that Spider-Man has had. I could see where I wish they'd had more time to really kind of push it further and bring some of these other characters in and start more interesting storylines. But as it stands, I think it's worth a watch still. Yeah,
it's definitely worth picking up. If you haven't seen it and you are a Spider-Man fan, you need to watch this. So we've got one review here today on Apple Podcasts. This is a 5-star review from, this is the challenge. Joseph, is it going to be Ryu or Ryu? Which camp are you in? You're in the Ryu camp? Okay.
I'm in the Ryu camp, yeah.
Because that's how it's supposed to be pronounced, but everyone says Ryu. So Ryu Halto, he says, love these guys. I was looking for a podcast where I can listen to past and future reviews of nostalgia. Everywhere I turn, it got either thrown with curse words and crazy stuff. Not here. Love how these two do their reviews. Keep at it. Thank you, Ryu.
Aw, nice.
And
Yes,
I will
thank you.
go to bat for your name, and I always liked you better than Ken.
I picture you as more of an Akuma guy, though.
No, haven't played a lot of Akuma, to be honest. Dude, Zangief, Blanca, and E Honda, though. Whew.
Well, that's because you live the Zangief life.
Yeah, I do. and I have a similar look as Blanca because I'm covered in hair.
And it is green, too. And you have electric charges you can let off sometimes.
It is true, especially when I fart.
I was a Vega guy myself. I love Vega.
You would be a Vega guy. Come on.
I just enjoy really vain characters. It's just so funny to me.
Oh, man.
Maybe it speaks to my character. I don't know.
I would play Cammy. Cammy's fun.
Oh, yeah. They're all great.
Yeah.
Except for, who do I not like? But we'll worry about that in our Street Fighter episode, which there are animated Street Fighter movies, at least. I don't think there was a series.
There was
we'll
a series, actually.
There was a series?
I think there was 2.
Wow. We'll do them someday.
Oh, yeah, we definitely will.
Well, listeners, looks like our milk supply is now run dry, so it's time for us to say goodbye. And in 2 weeks, since we're still bi-weekly for a little bit, we'll be watching
What's with Andy? Submitted via YouTube by Max Nystrom. This was a bottom of the list that we're hitting before we get into October. And yes, we are still doing October. Don't worry. We will be doing it. So we just had to make sure we got another crappy one in before we have fun with all the spookies and all that good stuff. So Max, I told you we would get to it eventually, man. I told you just had to be patient.
What is it called?
What's with Andy?
12-year-old Andy Larkin, the greatest prankster on Earth, unleashes a flurry of practical jokes on the residents of East Gackle.
East Gackle, bro.
Okay, well, this will be something.
Yeah, that's the way to describe it. Well, this will be something.
It has had 8 seasons.
Yeah,
8.
What's with Andy?
What's with that?
What's with
that,
this?
Andy? Oh,
the
boy.
joke's we're just gonna destroy
wear
that
joke
joke
out hard next episode.
Bury it into the ground. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm getting distracted by What's with Andy. So for now, I'm Joseph.
And I'm Chris.
And we'll see you next Saturday.
Presented by Nerdsloth.
A place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.